Here are 5 tips you can copy from the Jannik Sinner forehand to help improve your forehand. Now, this video is courtesy of 12K GP Tennis on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to their awesome channel. I've put their link in the description below. So let's watch a few forehands and then we'll analyze it. Now, the vast majority of those forehands were open stance, but not this one. This is a more neutral stance where his feet are basically in line with the court. I'm choosing this one for a reason. Don't force an open stance in every forehand. Obviously, the next one's going to be an open stance, right? Semi-open stance. Right foot's on the right, left foot's on the left. By the way, the definition of an open stance isn't that your toes are forward. Your toes are to the side even on an open stance. It's just the definition of an open stance is your right foot's on the right and your left foot's on the left. On this previous one, his left foot's in front and his right foot's in back, so it's a more neutral stance. Don't be afraid to use a neutral stance, especially on low balls. When the ball is low, it's a great time to use a neutral stance. When you get a high ball, that's going to be open. When you get a low ball, you can use an open, but you can definitely use a closed stance. So I see players all the time screwing this up. They try to force an open stance on every single ball because they think it's more advanced, and it's not. High balls, open. Low balls, you can choose closed or neutral. And so experiment with that and see how well it works for you. Number 2, you'll notice right here, we can see his back. I do so many stroke analysis and live Zoom lessons with players all around the world every single week. And the vast majority of players who send me videos of their forehand are struggling to show me their back. And we correct it. One of the things you can work on is just knowing that you're trying to show your back to the opponent. So just that knowledge can make a difference. But you'll also notice that he begins the unit turn by rotating, getting sideways, but his left hand, as a right-hander, is on the throat of the racket. That really rotates his body. Now, obviously, we can see his back here, but at contact, he's facing us. So there's uncoiling that has to occur. The only way you're going to uncoil is if you coil first. So the second tip is show your back to the opponent as you're preparing to hit your forehand. Number 3, you'll notice this view right here. Before he hits the ball, butt cap pointing at the ball, look where his strings are pointing. Please look at video footage of your forehand and make sure that your racket face is closed. Depending on the grip you use, your racket face might be more closed or less closed than the pros, but you'll see like an Eastern forehand might close a little bit, where a full Western might close a lot, where the strings are facing straight down. The idea is simple. If you just think of your palm and tilting your palm down toward the ground as you are approaching the ball with the butt cap pointing at the ball, swinging to contact, what it does at contact is it gets your strings to face more forward. Now, at contact, from the side view, you'll see that the pros tend to have the racket face a few degrees closed, and they swing so fast and up that they drag the ball up over the net, getting a ton of topspin. But if you're not closing your racket face, you are simply not going to get a consistent forehand as compared to if you did close your racket face. So make sure as you're approaching the ball that your strings are pointing down. Number 4, this is going to give you a lot of topspin, what we're going to talk about now. I want you to look at his racket prior to contact, how it is below his hand. So we'll make his hand red. And then I want you to look at his racket. We'll look at this view right here. Look at his racket after contact. You'll notice that the racket has gone from below his hand to above his hand, meaning the racket has traveled a farther distance than his hand. This is critical for getting topspin. A lot of players, they talk to me and they say, Ryan, I'm working on the windshield wiper, right? I'm working on swinging like this. What I like to do is turn the windshield wiper 90 degrees and tell people it's like this. That instead of the windshield wiper being like a rainbow, that it's turned 90 degrees and that it is low to high, but all you've done is taken it and turned it 90 degrees. I don't want people swinging, if they can help it, down to their pocket. Like, it's just, especially as a recreational player, we tend to hit short, we hit the frame, we hit the net a lot. We don't tend to hit our best forehands. Have your racket go from below your hand to above your hand. You'll see right here, his strings are basically facing the service line in front of him. And then he goes over the shoulder, right? And that's going to actually be our fifth tip. But you want the racket to go from below the hand to above the hand when you're getting a lot of spin. This accelerates the racket. It's called pronation. He's not rolling over the ball. And there really isn't a ton of wrist movement while he's doing this. He's not snapping his wrist as he's doing this. It's not a ton of wrist movement. It's the natural arc that is created that with your arm being a radius, you will naturally make this move as you hit the ball. But focus on that, and it'll make sure that you're not hitting too flat. And I already let the cat out of the bag. Please follow through over the shoulder. As I mentioned, do not follow through to your opposite hip. When you're following through to the opposite hip to try to copy maybe a Nick Kyrgios forehand you see every now and then, it simply does not work out well for recreational players. Now, the best way to practice these techniques at home is with a Topspin Pro. You can get a Topspin Pro using my link. It's in the description. I'm also going to pin it in the first comment. I absolutely love the Topspin Pro, and I know you will too. And if you're looking for people in your local area to play matches against or practice with, maybe you need some new tennis gear, or you'd love to find a coach who's close to you who can help you with your game, then use my link for PlayYourCourt. And it's playyourcourt.com/2-minute-tennis. When you use my link to sign up, you get 50% off. So click right here to pick up a Topspin Pro for at-home practice and film yourself hitting forehands. Check the 5 things we just talked about in your own forehand, and there's no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.